What's up? Welcome to my roundup of the first of the 3 pre-season tests for the 2014 Formula 1 season. It's a humongous shake-up in the rules, hopefully a new champion to crown at the end of the year. It's a new era, and we saw the start of it all at Jerez in Spain. So let me take you through what happened and try and sum up for you who is where. Now, before I get into things, the gameplay in the background is of a 5-lap quick race as Romain Grosjean at Jerez. Now, Lotus weren't actually in attendance at this test, so that is exactly why I chose to race as Lotus for the gameplay. You can watch it if you want. There isn't much interesting stuff in the race though, so if you want you can just switch tabs and listen to me talking as if it was a podcast. So yeah, welcome to the Jerez Test Overview Podcast. I'm joined this week by no one, just me, so listen in. Let's start off a week before the tests though and go through the car launches and my opinions of the new 2014 cars. We first of all saw a side picture of the Force India posted on their Twitter account, and with the full new black livery it does look rather good. But come Tuesday at Jerez for the full launch, well, it looks like there is a gentleman's sausage on the front of it, to be quite honest. The Williams looks alright, it's got another sausage though. And then on the Friday before Jerez, McLaren launched their new car, and it was really nice to see a big new title sponsor, a completely revamped livery going back to a classic livery from the old days. Sorry, I was wrong. They have no new title sponsor, and they stuck with just a load of stickers saying MP429 on it, and they kept the same boring silver livery, no orange, no red and white Marlboro McLaren, no black and grey from the West days, and again, it does have a gentleman's sausage. Ferrari was one day later, and they have launched their new car suitable for playgrounds, and they have built a slide on their front wing, to be quite honest. Sauber launched their car on Sunday, and they also have a sausage. Then on Monday it was the Toro Rosso, and they opted for a humongous sausage. I think he's had a bit of V-power there, to be honest. I'm not buying a die-cast model front wing from that car this year, no way. Then on Tuesday morning of the test, we saw Red Bull and Mercedes launch their cars. Red Bull have got a rudder on the front of their car, but credit to the boffins, they have actually hidden it quite well with the black paint. Mercedes, meanwhile, have a normal front wing, and their car on the whole looks the best in my opinion. Marussia launched their car on Thursday of the test, and it looks pretty sweet actually. The lines sort of flow around the car quite nice. Unfortunately though, for Max Chilton, the prettiest cars are not often the fastest, so he will need to keep up his game this season to match his superior teammate in my opinion, Jules Bianchi. Sorry, I just ran out of breath there. The reason why Marussia were late to arrive at Jerez was actually because Max Chilton was driving the team truck carrying the cars. So let's go through each team and how they did on each of the days instead of how each day went. Let's start with the current world champions, Red Bull. They had a very disappointing test and only completed a total of 21 laps over the 4 days. This is not good at all with such a big shake-up of the rules. Also not good for new recruit Daniel Ricciardo, who broke down on day 4 after only 3 laps, I think. In fact, the flatbed truck, which recovers down the broken cars, did more laps than the Red Bull. Maybe they should get a team or something, call it, I don't know, Flatbed International, Team FBI. Yes. But yeah, the new Renault engine does look the weakest out of the 3 engine manufacturers, and all the Renault-powered teams suffered problems throughout the test. But Red Bull suffered even more because we think Adrian Newey has packaged the car so tightly, as he always does, but these new cars need a bit more cooling, and the car was just overheating so much. So back to the drawing board before the second test in Bahrain. Ferrari are up next, and they seem to have a pretty decent engine underneath them. Alonso Raikkonen got in some good running over all the days and had a relatively trouble-free event, so they look good for reliability, but no one is sure what pure pace any of the teams have, as this first test was all about ironing out any problems and sorting out cooling and reliability. Raikkonen was the fastest on the first day, but had Hamilton not had his front wing failure, then I expect Hamilton would have been quicker. It's amazing how the torque for once isn't actually about the tyres. Pirelli have gone for slightly harder compounds this season, I think, and they seem to be holding up pretty well, and I don't think there were any tyre failures at the test. On to Mercedes, and you have to say that they do look the strongest after this test. They did the most laps with over 300 or 400, I can't quite remember exactly, and Hamilton and Rosberg are very quick drivers indeed. The Mercedes engine hasn't given any problems really, and you can see this across all the Mercedes powered teams, so for reliability, Mercedes look very good. Lotus now, and as I said, they weren't in attendance at the test as their car wasn't ready, but Grosjean and Maldonado will be at Bahrain for the second test, and we will be able to see the new two-pronged nose, or the fork or forklift truck. We'll be able to see it in the flesh for the first time. I hope Lotus do well this season. I prefer to refer to them now as Crash Team Racing. Yeah. Right, McLaren, and their new MP429 looks good. I think everyone's going to know that it's called MP429 because that's the only sponsor they've got, and it isn't even a sponsor. 2009 champion Jenson Button and new rookie Kevin Magnussen were in the car for 3 days as they missed the first day of running, with the car getting various issues. After that, though, they were in fine form, and I'm hoping that the fact McLaren switched focus to 2014 earlier than other teams will mean they have a winning car this season. They had very good running with their Mercedes engine their final year with Mercedes power before going to Honda next season. Button was the fastest on day 2 and Magnussen on day 3, so very good results for them. Force India had 3 drivers in action at the test. They were Nico Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez and reserve driver Daniel Juncadella. Hülkenberg has gone back to the Silverstone-based team after a year at Sauber, and Perez has gone there after he was pretty much sacked from McLaren. Mercedes-powered team, they look pretty good with not many issues, so hopefully a good season for them. So Sauber are powered by Ferrari, and once again they just looked average, as Sauber always do. Not great, not bad, just average. They keep Mexican driver Esteban Gutierrez, and Adrian Sutil has finally moved from Force India to another team of Sauber. Sutil has only ever driven for Force India, but it was called Spiker in 2007 when he raced there, so no big stories for Sauber at Jerez. Toro Rosso have switched to Renault power this season, and so far it doesn't look good for them, similar to their senior team Red Bull. Renault's engine seems to have some issues with it, and this is not good for Jean-Éric Vergne, now in his 3rd season at the team, and new recruit, current GP3 champion Daniel Kvyat. Not much running time in the car for him or Vergne, and they will be hoping their problems are sorted out in time for the second test in Bahrain. Williams have switched from Renault power to Mercedes this season, and so far the change looks to have paid off. Renault have produced a weak engine compared to Mercedes, and Williams didn't have many problems at the test, with Massa going fastest on the final day. Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa are in the car this season as Maldonado went off to Lotus. So the Williams team have a lot of experience with Massa and a lot of talent with Bottas, so good luck to them this season. Marussia are now powered by an engine other than Cosworth, and with links to Ferrari through Jules Bianchi, it made sense that they are now powered by Ferrari. Their car looks pretty sweet, and in the 2 days of running it was relatively trouble-free. I don't expect the car to be at the front this season, but who knows. Max Chilton joins Bianchi for a 2nd season, the first time since, ever, that Marussia have gone 2 seasons without changing their driver lineup. So finally, Caterham, who are our final team, and they have 2 new drivers in Swedish man Marcus Ericsson, who raced in GP2 for a couple of years, didn't really do much special, and I'm thrilled that Kamui Kobayashi is back in Formula 1. They've gone for a very strange nose, and with the Renault power, I think they will be the weakest team this season, which is a big shame for Kobayashi, who I think deserves to be at least midfield. So if I had to do a super grid based on Jerez, I think it would look something like this. I think Mercedes would be first, followed by McLaren, Ferrari, Williams in 4th, Force India 5th, Sauber would be in 6th, followed by Toro Rosso ahead of Red Bull in 8th place, Marussia 9th, and then Caterham 10th. Lotus, obviously we don't know where they are yet, but I think they'd be around midfield with their Renault engine. But if this is going to be an engine-dominated season, then I would put Mercedes power first, followed by Ferrari close behind them, and then Renault at the back. So the order for me would probably be Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, Force India. They're the 4 Mercedes-powered teams. Then Ferraris for Ferrari, Sauber, Marussia up to 7th. Then the Renault-powered teams, I'd actually still put Red Bull first, ahead of Lotus, then Toro Rosso and Caterham. So thanks a lot, guys, for listening in. Please support my channel where you can to help it grow. Please subscribe, like, share videos, do anything. Thank you so much again. Goodbye.